What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a huge TNA and WWE collaboration, 2 AEW stars exit the company, has Tony Khan become the new Vince McMahon, an AEW star shows up on NXT, WWE releases continue, the latest on Bron Breakker's suspension, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first story looks at a TNA Champion showing up in WWE. There's big news coming from Tuesday's edition of NXT as TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace showed up to challenge current NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez at Battleground. NXT General Manager Ava introduced Grace, who was seen at last year's Women's Royal Rumble, and Grace wasted no time letting Perez know she plans to leave Battleground with both titles, a situation that could change the WWE landscape in a major way. As exciting as this crossover is, this may just be the beginning of TNA appearances. PW Insider's Mike Johnson is reporting, the belief among those we've spoken with is that there will be some sort of NXT representation on future TNA events and programming as well, although we haven't heard how much that could be and whether it could be anyone beyond Roxanne Perez. As much of a surprise as Grace's appearance was, some fans began speculating on a WWE TNA collaboration after the news broke that Endeavor would be handling TNA's streaming service. Whilst this may be a coincidence, the idea of talent exchanges is good news for NXT and TNA. Are there any other wrestlers you'd like to see cross over into NXT or TNA? Also, do you think TNA wrestlers could show up on the main roster? While the WWE has changed its approach to working with other companies, it may not want to put TNA wrestlers on the same level as NXT wrestlers. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, an AEW star shows up on NXT. Jordynne Grace wasn't the only surprise appearance on the Black and Gold brand, as former AEW talent Ethan Page showed up after Lash legend from the Metaphor faction asked NXT champion Trick Williams whether he was responsible for the beatdown on Legend's teammates. Williams said he wasn't the only one involved, only for Ethan Page to show up and lay him out, taking the NXT title belt. Page tweeted about his appearance saying, "I guess I worked that trick." There was even a funny line from Vic Joseph as he straight up said, "Wasn't he an AE? Whoa. NXT superstar Cesar Bononi tweeted about how he helped keep Jordynne and Ethan's surprise appearances incognito. "Closed garage workout this morning. I had to hide, tame and feed 2 beasts." As we'll see, other AEW wrestlers may be available for NXT and the main roster as 2 AEW stars exit the company. There's big news concerning former Inner Circle member Jack Hager as Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes provided an exclusive story that sources have confirmed to Bodyslam.net that AEW star Jake Hager's contract has also recently expired and he did not re-sign with All Elite Wrestling, making him a free agent. It was also noted to me that the decision was believed to be mutual. Hager, who worked in the WWE as Jack Swagger, had a strong supporting role alongside Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle and Jericho Appreciation Society, but unfortunately saw less and less TV time. There's no word on what's next for the 42-year-old wrestler and MMA competitor, but another long-time figure in All Elite is leaving, Arn Anderson. Anderson, who worked as an on-screen talent coach for Cody Rhodes amongst others, announced on his podcast that he's leaving AEW. The enforcer gushed with praise for AEW President Tony Khan. "Here at the tail end of my career, I've been very fortunate to work for AEW and Tony Khan for the last 4 years. He's a great human being. He's taken the wrestling business and given another option and a whole other category of what pro wrestling is perceived to be or can be or will be or has been. So I just want to thank you to everyone who worked there. They're all exceptionally great." And he explained his reasons for his departure. "The time I have left, I want to spend with Brock because I think Brock has the attitude and he will be a player for somebody. I just got to get him some experience, so that's where I'm going to devote my time, is helping to develop Brock and teaching him, and if he comes along like I think he will." Arn Anderson's son Brock is 27 years old and it's unknown what promotion, if any, are interested in bringing him in. Brock worked in AEW from 2021 to 2023, but some fans are already wondering if AA will ever return to WWE, and if so, will he return to coaching Cody Rhodes? Next up, Chris Jericho talks Becky Lynch coming to AEW. And while Becky's contract expires at the end of the month, the man has said she's taking a hiatus from now. Nonetheless, it's believed that Lynch could command the highest payday yet for a female wrestler when she decides to return to wrestling. However, could it be in AEW? Chris Jericho spoke about this with TMZ Sports, noting that AEW's presence has made things better for wrestlers in general. You mentioned Becky Lynch. 5 years ago, Becky would have no other options. I'm not saying that she's coming, but there's an option, and who knows what could happen. You know, no one thought that Jericho would come to AEW, no one thought that Moxley would come, or Bryan Danielson, or Adam Cole, or any of these guys that have come over. So it's exciting for the fans, and exciting for the wrestlers and the talent, because now, suddenly, there's a bidding war that benefits us. So I think it's very important. Jericho also discussed how the two companies made for more surprises in wrestling as fans never know who will show up where. That was certainly evident on this week's NXT. Next up, has Tony Khan become the new Vince McMahon? That's bad news for AEW fans if a report from Figure 4 Online's Brian Alvarez is accurate, as it suggests Tony Khan's current booking style resembles that of Vince McMahon in 2019. Alvarez recently posted this on the Wrestling Observer message board. Tony switched the script on yesterday's pay-per-view multiple times during the afternoon. Most people, not just the wrestlers, have no idea what they're doing until the day of the show, and sometimes not until an hour or so before the show. People are flown to towns and given nothing to do. Others are begged the day before the show to please get to the town so they can do something last minute. He knows what he wants to do for pay-per-views, although this often changes, but as far as week-to-week television, everything is booked show to show. This is terrible news, but not a surprise for fans who have noticed AEW's dropping more storylines without warning and storylines also meandering. There are still solid long-term storylines, but something is missing from AEW compared to the company's heyday in 2019 and 2020. Alvarez noted, for most people he's incredibly difficult to get a hold of. In some ways, it legitimately is more like 2019 WWE than it is 2019 AEW. It's night and day the changes, and people who work for the company in all roles from the wrestlers to the office talk about it all the time. While injuries and other uncontrollable factors can throw long-term plans off, fans seem to appreciate well-crafted storylines with a clear start and finish. That has been missing from AEW, and now the WWE's vast improvement in its creative department means AEW now has serious competition. Interestingly, as much as Alvarez bemoaned AEW's status, he did point out that AEW today is a billion times better than WWE in 2019. However, for fans who embraced AEW in 2019, the current product is still a major disappointment. What do you guys think of Alvarez's report, and how would you compare the 2019 WWE to today's AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Bron Breakker's latest storyline suspension. It looks like Raw superstar Bron Breakker is in the WWE doghouse again, as Raw General Manager Adam Pearce recently posted a video lamenting of how he's tried to get Breakker to behave on Raw, only to see Bron show up while suspended and attack wrestlers. I want you to be on Monday Night Raw for today and for tomorrow, for the future, because I believe in Bron Breakker. I believe in Bron Breakker. I can't say it any clearer than that. I tripled your fine, I sent you home again. I'm done trying to talk to you like a man because maybe you're not. Maybe you're just a dog-faced gremlin. Don't be surprised to see Breakker show up again on Raw, laying out whomever happens to be in his path. Next up, a fired WWE star talks return. As Shelton Benjamin returning to WWE. Benjamin, who was released in September 2023 along with many other superstars, recently spoke with the Daily Star about whether he'd rejoin the WWE after being released several times. I think I'd be a fool to not look at the opportunity. If they asked me to come back, I would definitely go back. I'd be a fool not to. They're the biggest company in the world. You get the most exposure. You can't really expand your own personal brand there. The WWE is a marketing machine. Most people think of WWE as a wrestling company. I think of it as a marketing company. Benjamin noted that while it can be frustrating to get released, he explained his reasoning. Leave your feelings at the door. WWE doesn't care about your feelings, much like any other job. Shelton said he's not trying to get back into WWE, but if the opportunity arose, his answer would be easy. Next up, WWE Releases Continue. A TKO Group Holdings has released more WWE staff and executives. Wrestling News is reporting that two long-term execs, Kristen Prutti and Tavia Hartley, were released. According to the site's Andrew Ravens, Prutti worked for WWE since 2000, where she became the Senior VP of Entertainment Relations and was let go. She'd been in that role for nearly 20 years and was said to be instrumental in helping land the Logan Paul deal. Hartley was hired in 2021 and was listed as Talent Operations and Appearances Manager. The releases follow the news that TKO was merging the WWE and UFC's live event teams. PW Insider is reporting that other staffers have been released from different departments. And finally, another wrestler getting stem cell treatment. And last but not least, add Shotzi to the growing list of wrestlers undergoing stem cell treatment to deal with assorted injuries. Shotzi, who recently had surgery to repair a torn ACL, posted the following on her Instagram account. In Mexico to finally get the stem cells, I've been waiting since I hurt my back 2.5 years ago. Realizing that my knee injury is giving me the opportunity to finally heal my back has been a huge silver lining. While the benefits of stem cell treatments for physical injuries are still being debated, several wrestlers including John Morrison, Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam and others have undergone them, with some wrestlers claiming they've added years to their careers. We send our best to Shotzi as she heals up from various injuries and can't wait for her in-ring return. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.